Dark corners of the night, secrets hidden from the light. Whispers turn to screams, shattering all your dreams. Eyes wide open now, truth you can't disavow. Echoes through the halls, crashing all your walls. Truth seekers, exposing the truth. Truth seekers, coming for you. Uncover the lies, open your eyes. Shadows try to hide, no place for them to bide. Light will pierce you through, reveal what is true. Running from your fears, can't escape the sears. Truth will hunt you down, tear apart your crown. Truth seekers, exposing the truth. Truth seekers, coming for you. Uncover the lies, open your eyes. Eyes wide open now, truth you can't disavow. Echoes through the halls, crashing all your walls. Truth seekers, exposing the truth. Truth seekers, coming for you. Uncover the lies, open your eyes. Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about this big bombshell story that has been in both the New York Post and in the Wall Street Journal. And but before we get to the good stuff, I just want to take a moment to remind some of our longer-term listeners about something that we did, a piece here that we did, and it was called the Dark Playground Hypothesis. Hold on, let me fix this background. So, several years ago, because of an awful lot of research and investigations, I began to realize, and good sourcing, both within the current United States government and military and retired folks, I began to believe that a great many UFO sightings were black budget technology or secret access projects, top secret military projects. And so I published something called the Dark Playground Hypothesis. And in that hypothesis that I put forth was the belief that a great deal of the things that we're seeing in the skies are not, in fact, alien spacecraft, but are, in fact, top secret or black budget technology being test flown. And it's interesting that, it takes so much time sometimes to go through all of what I call the smoke and mirrors that the government puts forth. But now it appears that recent reporting, both in the Wall Street Journal and in the New York Post, kind of confirm a lot of what I have been saying here. Which is that a great amount of some of this stuff that we are experiencing is government. It's the United States government hiding their projects. So we begin tonight with a written piece that was part of this that I'm going to present to you tonight was written about that so-called dark playground hypothesis and UFOs as a disinformation tool of the United States government. And about another portion of this was just written in the wake of this bombshell reporting. So, UFOs as disinformation, the historical use of alien and UFO lore and mythology by the US government to obscure Black projects. Tonight, we'll critically examine some of the historical relationship between the US government and the use of alien and UFO narratives as a tool of misdirection and psychological operations, or psyops, to protect classified military programs. Drawing from some declassified documents, testimonies of government insiders, and independent investigations I myself have conducted, I think that we can pretty convincingly demonstrate that much of the 20th century UFO mythology was either tolerated or deliberately cultivated by US intelligence and military agencies to obscure the existence of highly classified so called Black projects. We have historical examples of the government using aliens and UFOs to cover for these projects. These include the U 2 spy plane, the A 12 Oxcart, the Blackbird, and of course, stealth technologies that were tested at secretive locations such as Area 51. The government's strategic embrace of and even promotion of extraterrestrial myths provided a useful cover against both public inquiry and foreign surveillance. The dark playground hypothesis argues that the UFO mythos functioned not as evidence of alien contact or visitation on Earth, but as a Cold War era disinformation campaign with enduring cultural and political consequences. The idea that unidentified flying objects or UFOs or UAPs may be alien spacecraft has captivated the public imagination for over 75 years, if not longer. However, beneath the cultural fascination lies a far more terrestrial story, and that is the systematic use of UFO narratives by the US government to protect secret aerospace and defense projects. This practice, largely developed during the Cold War, helped to deflect attention away from experimental aircraft and advanced technologies being tested by the US military and intelligence community. Tonight, we'll take some time to evaluate the evidence that UFOs served not as proof of extraterrestrial life, but as tools of strategic obfuscation. Following World War II, the United States rapidly expanded its military industrial complex. The rise of the Soviet threat and the nuclear arms race necessitated the development of advanced surveillance and weapons platforms. The Central Intelligence Agency, the U.S. Air Force, and the defense contractors, such as Lockheed Martin, began working on experimental aircraft and even radar evading technologies in total and extreme secrecy. To ensure operational security, many of these programs were classified under black budgets, with their existence denied even to Congress. The problem became evident as more civilians and military personnel began reporting so called unidentified flying objects, or UAPs, near test sites like Groom Lake, Area 51. And it's interesting that the government really had a few choices about what to do about that. But we know now from a historical perspective what they chose to do. Rather than suppressing these reports, US intelligence agencies have allowed and sometimes even encouraged them to flourish. In the mid 1950s, U 2 reconnaissance aircraft was developed to fly at altitudes above 60,000 feet, well beyond the capability of most commercial or military aircraft at that time. Civilian air traffic controllers and pilots frequently reported seeing silver objects high in the sky, which could not be explained by known aircraft. A 1992 CIA report titled The CIA and the U-2 Program, 1954 to 1974, explicitly acknowledged that a large percentage of US UFO sightings in the 1950s and 60s were actually U-2 test flights. The agency notes, quote, high altitude testing of the U-2 soon led to an unexpected side effect, a tremendous increase in reports of unidentified flying objects. And rather than clarifying these incidents publicly, the CIA and Air Force colluded together to allow rumors of alien spacecraft to circulate among the American populace. This served a dual purpose because it kept the true nature of the U-2 secret from adversaries, and it provided a convenient cultural distraction away from the secret projects they were developing. Next, there was Project Oxcart and an expansion of more UFO disinformation. Following the U-2, the CIA initiated Project Oxcart, the code name for the development of the A-12, a Mach 3 plus reconnaissance aircraft that preceded the SR-71 Blackbird. This aircraft was tested out of Area 51 in Nevada during the 1960s. The A-12 had an exotic, futuristic shape and flew at altitudes and speeds far exceeding conventional aircraft. A significant portion of reported UFO sightings during this era can be correlated geographically and chronologically with Oxcart test flights. According to a 2013 declassified CIA history of Area 51, Oxcart vehicles were responsible for the high number of UFO sightings in the 1960s. The US government not only refused to confirm the existence of such programs, but also misled the public and even internal investigators, including Project Blue Book, the official Air Force investigation into UFOs. This policy actively reinforced the alien hypothesis, feeding a great deal of disinformation into the cultural bloodstream. Next, there was the development of stealth technology and 1980s era UFO sightings. In the 1980s, sightings of angular black boomerang shaped aircraft spiked, particularly in the American Southwest. This, of course, coincided with the development and test flights of stealth aircraft, including the F 117 Nighthawk and the B 2 Spirit bomber. These cutting edge designs were unlike any plane previously seen by civilians or military personnel up to this point. Rather than explaining the source of the sightings, the Air Force leaned into the ambiguity. By the time the F 117 was declassified in 1988, years of UFO rumors had already obscured its existence. Reports, often from very credible witnesses, including police officers and pilots, were written off as alien hysteria, optical illusions, weather phenomenon, or other prosaic explanations, thus protecting the classified status of the program. Next, we'll get to psychological operations and strategic misdirection. There is a great deal of evidence to suggest that the intelligence agencies not only allowed UFO mythology to spread, but actively manipulated it. Anecdotes from former insiders, such as Air Force Office of Special Investigations agent Richard Doty, claim that disinformation was deliberately fed to UFO researchers, including forged documents, fake photographs, and even staged encounters. While Doty himself is a controversial and I believe unreliable figure, he is emblematic of a broader pattern, using the UFO community as an unwitting buffer zone. If a civilian stumbled upon a real black project and information about that, their credibility could be undermined by tying them to fringe alien theories. Thus, the UFO mythos served not just as a cover for these black budget projects and secret projects, but also as a weaponized cognitive fog. In other words, muddying the waters. Next, we can talk about a little bit about Area 51 as a case study in controlled myth making. Area 51, officially known as Groom Lake, became the epicenter of UFO folklore by the late 1980s, popularized by media personalities and hoaxers like Bob Lazar. The narrative of underground alien labs and captured extraterrestrial craft became so widespread that the true nature of the site as a cutting edge test facility remained largely obscured. And despite the fantastical claims, Area 51's real importance lay in its function as a testbed for military aviation, including the SR 71 Blackbird, stealth aircraft, and now, most recently, unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, drones. The persistence of alien rumors continues to serve a strategic purpose because even today, speculative alien stories ensure that journalists, foreign intelligence, and the general public focus on the wrong questions. And of course, there is some cultural fallout from this and long term effects of government backed mythology. By promoting or tolerating these alien narratives, the US government inadvertently, or some say deliberately, helped create a modern mythology. This has had serious side effects. Number one, distrust in government. As more disinformation has come to light, the public has grown skeptical of official narratives. Number two, erosion of critical thinking. The popularization of pseudo evidence for aliens has contributed to a broader culture of conspiracy theories. Number three, loss of scientific vigor or rigor. Ufology, once an amateur attempt to understand aerial phenomena, has largely become a fringe subculture fueled by disinformation, misinformation, and false narratives. So the UFO mythos has long served a valuable, if ethically ambiguous, purpose for the US government. It functioned as a smokescreen for highly classified military projects, from the U 2 spy plane to the development of stealth bombers. Alien narratives have helped protect state secrets that were hidden literally in plain sight. This history of strategic deception underscores how mythology can be manufactured and weaponized by powerful institutions. It is a sobering reminder that belief in the unexplained often flourishes, not because of ignorance, but because of manipulation. Um, and I just want to mention some of the sources that I've used here. The CIA and the U2 program, 1954 to 1974, which was declassified in 1992. Uh, Central Intelligence Agency document Area 51 in the U2 program from 1955 to 2000, which was declassified in 2013. Uh, an uncensored history of America's top secret military base by Annie Jacobson. Although I disagree with much in the book, she has some good points in that book. Watch the Skies, A Chronicle of the Flying Saucer Myth, a book from 1994. And then, of course, a book that many UFO people are familiar with, Timothy Good's Above Top Secret, The Worldwide UFO Cover-Up. And then I also sourced UFOs, A Scientific Debate by Carl Sagan and Thornton Page. These are excellent resources if you really want to get to the truth behind some of this stuff. I'm going to take a moment to thank Double Tap Ranger Outdoors for a kind and generous $6.99. Says, glad you jumped on this right away. As soon as I saw it, I knew you'd grab it. Thanks for covering it. Yeah, my pleasure. And I've known that this was coming for several weeks now. Some of us have known that there's this huge story was coming, but thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. We've got another one. Your paper is bang on. As a former, shall we say, military guy, I have seen insane upgraded equipment. US is far more advanced than the public thinks. Yeah, you could be correct. You're probably absolutely correct. So thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. It is much, much appreciated. And just so everyone is aware, we read every single super chat. We also want to take a moment to thank Dark Side Lure, who became a subscriber on Kick. If you become a subscriber on Kick or a channel member on YouTube, we give you a big shout out and a thank you. If you gift memberships on Kick or on YouTube, we give you a big shout out and thank you. So big shout out and thank you to Double Tap Ranger Outdoors. And we read every super chat and thank you. So don't be shy with those. And thank you, Dark Side Lure, for becoming a YouTube channel member, or I'm sorry, a Kick channel member. And let's praise some cash, friends.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for your kindness. And I don't. I'm beyond like complaining. Uh, Richard Warner says hoaxers like Bob Lazar. Steven said, "Funny how at Truth Seekers we get that and we can move past it. Yet I keep seeing so many on YouTube that are still spellbound by Lazar's grift." You are correct. Yeah. And I just want to mention that I don't complain about this situation, but I just want to state it as a fact. For the past several years, while I have been pushing the correct information and refusing to cover disinformation, misinformation, fantastical stories, trust me, bro stories, you know, so many of these UFO shows got the story wrong. We here at Truth Seekers got it right, and we have confirmation of that with this latest reporting. We have gotten the UFO story largely right, and it's important to note that the UFO community is filled with con artists, scammers, larpers, grifters, uh, and those are just the good guys. But I will take a moment to say that I apologize if I have been too harsh on some of these so called whistleblowers, because it would appear that some of them were psyoped. And we put forth the theory that some of these guys have been psyoped. Nobody wanted to hear it, but that's the truth. And we know that now due to this recent bombshell reporting. These Some of these government military people and intelligence people were given a document that basically said the government is recovering alien crash technology and back engineering it. And we're going to get more into the specifics of that. But what that would mean is that people like Jason Sands and people like Dave Grush may have been psyoped. And so maybe some of them aren't scammers or grifters or UFO profiteers. Maybe they truly believed what they saw, what they were misled to believe by this government psyop. So if I've been too harsh on some of those people, then I apologize, because if I place myself in their situation, what if I worked for the government in some intelligence capacity? And I saw documents that basically said the United States government has recovered alien crash retrievals, even saw pictures of alien bodies and alien spaceships, and technical briefings about the technology. I might believe that this is 100% a true story and go out to the public to try to blow the whistle on it. So if I've been too harsh to any so called whistleblower, then I apologize. Many of them are victims of a government disinformation campaign, and that's inexcusable. Why is the government just allowed to, run psychological operations against its own citizens? Is that legal? I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but it doesn't sound like that would be a legal or ethical thing to me, that people will be able to do that, and it's just okay within the government. But that appears to be exactly what has happened here. Now, back to the situation, I began complaining about money. For the past several years, while all of these other UFO channels have been pushing the aliens are visiting and we have it crash retrievals, pushing the believer narrative, because let's be clear, that's what sells. Some of these other UFO shows have made tens of thousands, if not some of them hundreds of thousands of dollars, pushing these false narratives. And I just want to put it on the record and say that we didn't do that. And our reporting has been correct and factually accurate about virtually everything. Now, do I make mistakes? Sure, but we acknowledge mistakes when we make them. And it kind of does. I say it doesn't bother me that we don't make a lot of money here, but the scam UFO channels all do. It does kind of bother me, because if you really want to get to the heart of the mystery, you have to throw out the garbage. You people call it separating the wheat from the shaft. We've done that here. We haven't provided you with cool stories that we can't verify and said they're true because somebody said so, or the trust me bro stories. And I just want to take a moment also to show you this. Somebody said to me before the broadcast tonight, well, this recent reporting doesn't prove that the government uses disinformation or psyops against people. It doesn't prove it, Stephen. This is just another cover story. Okay, but there is historical evidence, an incredible amount of historical evidence, that the government for decades has done exactly that. Used aliens and UFOs to their advantage in psychological operations for whatever reason. And here, I just want to take a moment to thank Philip Mantle, who posted this. I had it somewhere, I couldn't find it. And I have 10 more like this. This is a declassified Central Intelligence Agency document, and it's from 1952. Memorandum, Director of Psychological Strategy Board. Subject, Flying Saucers. 1. I am today transmitting to the National Security Council a proposal in which it is concluded that the problems connected with unidentified flying objects appear to have implications for psychological warfare, as well as for intelligence and operations. 2. The background for this view is presented uh, in some detail in tab B. Number 3, I suggest that we discuss at an early board meeting the possible offensive or defensive utilization of these phenomena for psychological warfare purposes. And again, this is just one of the documents in my archive, and I apologize. Maybe we'll do a whole different show where we go through. I have 10 like this that proves that the government uses UFOs, aliens, and flying saucers for psychological operations of one kind or another. And this is nothing new. So, this recent reporting, and by the way, the true believers are coping and seething, calling it it's a disinformation campaign. No, you true believer morons run disinformation campaigns. And, this this recent reporting I think is accurate. I think it's accurate, and we're going to get to all of it. Um, so it's important that we put on the record that the government has been using this stuff for a long time. And we want to thank Charles McDonald, who has gifted one True Seekers membership. And that's why you got to hit that subscribe button, friends, because if you're in the live chat and you're a subscriber but not yet a member, you could win a membership when a kind and generous person like Charles McDonald gifts one. Lord Ludacris was gifted a membership. Thank you for that, Charles McDonald. We appreciate you, and thanks for appreciating us and praising the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right. And as I said, if you become a YouTube channel member on YouTube or a Kick subscriber, we give you a big shout out and thank you. David McLeod just became a member. So thank you for that, David McLeod. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Thank you, David McLeod. Much, much appreciated. So we're going to get out of this, and we're going to go right to the bombshell video.
I don't think this.
Let me just cue this up. And I want to take a moment to say this is fair use. We're educating the public and critiquing the video that we are sharing. And this is covered under fair use. Let me do it like that, or more like that. That's better. So this is the Stephen Greenstreet got a bombshell interview with the deputy director of AARO, which was the government's UFO program. And it's very interesting in that AARO was given the keys to all of the goodies. They had no restrictions. They could look at any special access project, any top secret project, any unacknowledged special access project. They were allowed to go to Area 51 and see what goodies Area 51 is testing. So they were given unprecedented full access to everything within the government to kind of investigate these claims that people were making. And I want to take a moment to recognize and understand I am not a fan of mainstream media, not at all. But occasionally there is a decent mainstream media reporter. I like alt media, but alt media gets a little too conspiratorial and crazy sometimes. So maybe it's good to be grounded and get your news from both. So Stephen Greenstreet from the New York Post and the Basement Office is the only mainstream reporter that has gotten this story right and correctly as we have. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for him because most of the mainstream reporters, all they do is copy and paste. You'll see they just copy and paste from the big alien stories, and they generate clickbait and sensational titles so that they can cash in on this. Greenstreet has actually done real investigative journalism. And to be honest, I'm a little jealous because I'm sure when you call somebody and ask for an interview and you say, I work for the New York Post, you're going to do better than I do when I call and ask for an interview and say, I have a podcast. There's still a great deal of prejudice against guys with podcasts. I know some incredible investigative journalists that have podcasts like me, but they can't get the access sometimes. So, but good for him. Double Tap Ranger Outdoors with another one. The brown guy is a classic mark, exhibits all the hallmarks. It's called Narrative Shaper. He has no idea he is one. Yeah, that's also called a bobo. The CIA calls a guy like that a bobo, which is another term for useful idiot. You are correct, Double Tap Ranger Outdoors, and thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. And we thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. By the way, it's the Cash Clown's birthday today. We had a party over the weekend, but it is his birthday today.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Yeah, he turns 9 years old. Much bigger than he looks in these old bumpers. We're going to have to do some new ones. Thank you, Double Tap Ranger Outdoors. And we've got Sunny Cali 11. Keep up the good work and momentum, Stephen. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
We're already praising. We barely started the presentation. We're already praising the cash wonderfully. So thank you all. We'll take a moment to check in with the Kick Live chat as well. We read every single one of those. And we still just got Dark Side Lord was the last person to become a subscriber. But if you're feeling generous on Kick, I will keep checking in and we'll read those out. Yes, happy birthday, Cash Clown. Yeah, I don't know what to do for him today. We went and got Slurpees. That's one of his favorite. I asked him, what do you want to do today? It's your birthday. He's home from school. He's finished school now. And he said, can we go to 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee? Yeah. Remember when you were a kid and that dollar Slurpee would just make you the happiest person on earth for a little while? I wish adult life was that simple, right? Well, maybe frozen alcoholic beverage would do that for me. I don't know. Maybe I need a Bahama Mama or something like that. But let's get into this. And by the way, the link to Stephen Greenstreet's excellent video is in the description of this video, as always.
I don't think this has gone public yet, but those technologies and amazing capabilities were designed by Americans and built, manufactured, and flown by Americans. Some of these things we have, my God, they look like Klingon death ships.
Klingon death ships?
Amazing.
Whoa.
There was a lot of misbehavior by our government. We built these UFO cover stories to protect what we were really doing.
Just so I get it and I comprehend this.
Sure.
There was a fake program that was a flying saucer alien program.
Yeah, there was a false special access program. It wasn't real.
And you're saying that sums up what these whistleblowers have actually seen.
Exactly.
Now that's interesting. Now, one of the things that I have to put this on the record. One of the things that bothered me about the Dave Grush story is that Dave Grush seemed utterly convinced that the government had alien technology. And now we know why he was so convinced. He may have been shown photos, videos, documents. He may have been asked to sign an NDA about the government's secret alien crash retrieval program. It was all a psyop, friends. Trolly Troll Troll is here wishing the clown, our Cash Clown, a happy birthday. Thank you very much.
Raise the gas, raise the gas, raise the cash.
So it's interesting to me that we may now have an explanation for the one thing that really bothered me about the Dave Grush story is that they seem so utterly convinced that they were right, that the government really does have alien technology. Now we know why, because they were shown evidence that the government does have alien technology, but it was fake. It was all fake.
Over the last 7 years, you've probably seen news headlines about multiple UFO whistleblowers who have come forward to claim that the US government is hiding the existence of aliens and alien technology.
Yes, and it's also important to note that I think that this recent revelation explains a lot of things. For example, how are these whistleblowers so convinced that the government has alien technology, but they have no evidence of it? This would explain it. This perfectly explains why they don't have evidence, because they can't. If they sign an NDA after seeing these documents and these fake pictures, they can't get them out and show the public, this is what I saw.
My previous reporting investigated some of these UFO whistleblowers and activists who want the government to spend taxpayer resources on their paranormal
Yeah, this
claims.
is the spooky gang.
Some of them testified
It's all the same group of people, too.
under oath before Congress that there is a real cover-up of secret government programs involving real aliens and alien technology. Mystified by these claims, in 2022, congressional leaders like Senator Kirsten Gillibrand and then Senator Marco Rubio mandated by law the creation of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or
And this was the government's UFO investigation arm or organization that was stood up after the previous one. And it's important to note that AARO was run by very serious, well-trusted intelligence people, people within the government. And the predecessor to AARO was basically run by a bunch of wackadoos who believe in ghosts and goblins and all kinds of crazy shit. Travis Taylor, we saw that psychic girl who's telling people she could talk to people's dead relatives. She and Jay Stratton and other complete and total wackadoos were part of the previous government organization that was scuttled to create a more serious UFO investigation team in AARO.
AARO. AARO was asked to look into the claims of these whistleblowers and to find if these aliens actually exist. But you can't just walk into Area 51, for example, and start looking around in the basement.
Imagine that.
Not
yeah.
just anyone can do that. You need special top secret authorities and permissions controlled by Congress and the Office of the President of the United States. So AARO was given Title 10 and Title 50 authorities, which, in layman's terms, means they had the keys to the entire top secret kingdom. But who was Congress going to give the keys to? It needed to be individuals with impeccable resumes.
Yeah, and there's a reason that they needed people with impeccable resumes. And that's because the UAP task force, which was the predecessor to AARO, was run by literal wackadoos. Travis Taylor's that guy on Skinwalker Ranch that sees aliens everywhere. He was on the government's UAP task force, which is ridiculous. Why would you hire a guy that's on a hoax supernatural television show to do serious government work? I think that the UAPTF was scuttled because they know they had a bunch of wackadoos running that organization that see aliens everywhere. The UAPTF is the reason why there was government...
Impressive experience.
Pardon me. Hold on. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I apologize. So the UAPTF was the reason that AARO was stood up, in my opinion, because the UAPTF is the reason why those Chinese spy balloons got through. Because the wackadoos in the predecessor to AARO, people like Travis Taylor, the Skinwalker Ranch guy, were too busy looking for aliens to recognize foreign adversarial threats. And this is serious. It's national security. So they try to hire more serious people for the new effort, and they did.
And reputations for being trustworthy and reliable. The keys went to Sean Kirkpatrick, a Pentagon scientist, and Tim Phillips, a 40-year veteran of military
Spooky
and
doesn't endorse the
intelligence
Spooky
operations. Kirkpatrick and Phillips brought in a team of over 40 trusted people. AARO then interviewed the UFO whistleblowers and other military witnesses in a classified setting to get their full stories.
Yeah, and it's important to note that the government, the AARO office basically opened their doors and said, come in, give us your testimony, give us whatever evidence you have. The problem was, as Kirkpatrick had mentioned over and over and over again, that these people came in with stories, but they didn't have any real or verifiable evidence. And that's a problem. If you're going to make fantastical claims, you got to have fantastic proof. That most of these people had no proof. They had stories that other people have told them. In other words, UFO lore and mythology.
With Kirkpatrick and Phillips at the tip of the spear, they went out and tracked down the source of each and every one of these claims about the government hiding aliens. In March 2024, AARO released an unclassified report of their findings to the public. After talking to everyone and looking everywhere, AARO states they found no aliens, no alien technology, and no alien bodies.
And this is where things get dangerous, because when people so desperately want to believe that the government really does have the aliens, even when the government tries to be transparent and run a real investigation and go through whatever evidence people claim to have, when they don't find the aliens, people basically just say, well, they're covering it up. It's really like insidious the way that the conspiracy world works. It's like, well, we really love this conspiracy that the government's hiding aliens. And if you don't tell us that the government does have the aliens, then we'll just say that you're part of the cover up. So this is why this is able to continue. Even when the government is transparent, nobody believes them. And part of me says, you can't blame them. You're basically like, in this bombshell report, they're admitting that they were lying. The government was lying to its own employees, claiming that they had aliens when they didn't.
The unclassified report states these whistleblowers had mostly become convinced that aliens were real because of unfounded or false stories, or in some cases, they misinterpreted real human-made technology for alien technology.
Yeah, and this is another problem. Like, what if you were working in an unrelated capacity at Area 51? Let's say you got hired to be an electrician, and you were doing electrician work, and you saw a dome-shaped, saucer-shaped craft that appeared to have no visible means of propulsion flying in the sky right above you. You might come to the conclusion that this was aliens or alien technology. In other words, misidentifications. A great deal of these people who claimed the government had aliens or that they witnessed what they believed to be aliens were simply misidentifications of top secret projects.
After the report was released, I interviewed Sean Kirkpatrick about AARO's findings. Kirkpatrick says many of these UFO whistleblowers are true religious believers.
Hey, look at that. This is from Kirkpatrick. It is basically a religion, a religious belief that transcends critical thinking and rational thought. And I've often called the people that really believe that aliens are visiting Earth and the government is hiding it, it's not based on science. It's not based on real or verifiable evidence. It's what I call a faith-based belief system. They so desperately want to believe it, and they hear all these stories, and I myself was once in that camp. I have since become much more critical due to my own research and diligent learning about everything that I can. And as time goes on, I get more skeptical and more skeptical, especially with bombshell reporting like this. The government literally lied to their own people and pretended that they had alien technology.
Who are
Something else.
unfazed by facts and evidence to the contrary. Despite the conclusive AARO report, which debunks many of their claims, this religious group of whistleblowers and activists went on to convince sympathetic members of Congress to continue spending taxpayer resources to look for the aliens that AARO says don't exist.
Yeah, and that's another problem for me. First of all, a great number of the people that were involved with this government effort to investigate the UFOs are literal scamming grifters that make money selling alien stories out of things like flares, chandelier reflections off of a window, drone sightings that they know are not alien spacecraft. The fact that our United States government is wasting their time due to the demands of a bunch of grifters that are selling flares as aliens is a real problem. Like, I don't understand why somebody isn't allowed to walk into the offices of all these people. I thought about going to Washington and trying to do it myself or write a briefing and try to walk it into them. But I know you can't just walk into a senator's office, but you should be able to, because somebody needs to educate Anna Polina Luna, Tim Burchett, and some of these other people that are wasting taxpayer money and time and resources. They need to be educated on the fact that you're being led down a hall of mirrors with a quicksand floor by a bunch of grifters, proven scamming grifters that sell fake alien stories they know are fake. And getting Congress to investigate this has been a huge windfall for these grifters. Their income goes up because, hey, this is a serious thing. The government's investigating this. This isn't bullshit. The government's taking this seriously. So then they all come up with stories to sell, books to sell, documentaries to sell. They are manipulating the United States Congress into helping their grifts and scams continue. And that's a problem for me.
So, what's going on here? Why do some members of Congress continue to spend taxpayer resources on these claims? Well, as it turns out, some of these whistleblowers probably did witness something real, but they were intentionally deceived. What the public really hasn't heard yet is that there were several key details kept out of the AARO report, secrets that the military did not want the public to know. Well, now, those secrets are coming out.
Yeah, and this is interesting. Oftentimes, things are left out of unclassified reports because they would be embarrassing to members of the government or embarrassing to organizations within the government, like the Air Force, for example, or whoever. It's not that this is top secret because it's national security. Well, we're just going to classify that portion because we don't want to embarrass our fellow government workers. No, bullshit. Tell the whole story.
A bombshell Wall Street Journal investigation reveals that when AARO went looking for the original source of these UFO stories about the government hiding aliens, they discovered that, in many instances, the source was the government itself, creating fake UFO images and fake UFO programs.
Because we were saying, how did this myth get started? Well, maybe it was something that was used by the government to kind of conceal what we were really doing.
Yeah, and we've shown you historical examples, including the U-2 spy plane, the Oxcart program, the SR-71 Blackbird, and the stealth fighters and stealth bombers, where the government actively promoted aliens as an explanations for the things people were seeing in the skies. So I get it. A lot of the true believers don't like this reporting. They say, well, why are they telling us the truth now? Well, if you really dig in to the declassified documents, many of which I mentioned at the start of our broadcast, there is a great deal of evidence that this is what the government has been doing for quite some time when it comes to UFOs.
I interviewed Tim Phillips, who, as I previously mentioned, was the deputy director and at one point the acting director of AARO. Phillips recently left AARO and spoke to me on the record. He says in the classified version of the AARO report is the discovery that the U.S. government was
You could be right,
sometimes the
Garaji.
source, creator, and promoter of false UFO stories. For example, some of the UFO whistleblowers who claim the government has a secret alien UFO program had actually been exposed to a fake program that was a prank to haze new Air Force personnel.
I don't think this has gone public yet, but
And this is the big takeaway from this. This is so crazy, but it explains why so many people within the United States government are completely and totally convinced that the government has alien technology. Some of them were shown documents or told stories by the people who saw the documents, saw the photos, and signed NDAs to be read into this so-called government program, admitting that the government had alien technology.
there were some embarrassing things that we discovered. And we had a lot of people, high-ranking people, very, very concerned and very sensitive that it could just bring discredit upon their agency or their service.
How so?
So,
What do you mean embarrassing? How?
well, as you know, there was a false UAP program. It was an incident that started out in the Air Force. It was an anti-gravity motor that was developed from alien crash retrieval. It was hazing. It was a joke. It wasn't real.
AARO discovered that for decades, the U.S.
This
Air
is something
Force had
else.
a bizarre hazing ritual. When new people were brought in to manage top-secret Air Force offices, they were first given a presentation about a secret program that dealt with UFOs, and they were shown images of what the presenters claimed was alien technology.
Yeah, so imagine if you're a government worker and you get handed official, what you think are official government documents stating that the government has alien technology in its possession, but then you're sworn to secrecy about it. Somebody's going to talk about that. And a lot of this circular reporting, I believe, has come from people who saw this program, saw these documents and these photographs, and talked to other people about it.
You would have been knocked your socks off to look at the alien space and the craft, and the way they did it was a Hollywood produced stuff. It was great.
But AARO discovered that the images in the whole program was fake,
Yeah, and this is stock footage. This isn't actually what they were shown.
a prank, and
But I'm hopeful that somebody's going to get those documents and we're going to eventually see what they were shown. This false reality that they were shown.
part of a hazing ritual.
What happened is for decades, you probably had thousands of officers who never knew that was a fake SAP, and it got out into the wild. And you had a generation of officers that were briefed into this UFO exploitation program and didn't know it was just a joke or hazing.
Phillips
They
says
thought
he
it was
interviewed
real.
many of these officers who had never been told that what they saw was fake. Some of them still remain scared to death.
I'll tell you from talking to some of the witnesses, there was real fear, that what they saw or observed, they would be harmed if they shared that with us.
Yeah, and that could be because of all the conspiracy theories about people being killed or murdered because they were going to spill the alien secrets.
No, they were scared to death and paranoid about, and we're just trying to understand the truth. And these people had sincere beliefs that there was some covert black cop, that if they revealed the truth about aliens, then someone's going to go out there and eliminate them.
So these
And
witnesses,
that was real.
these witnesses are coming to you in their heart of hearts convinced that they've seen something alien, and in their heart of hearts convinced truly that they were risking their lives talking to you guys.
Some individuals, yes.
Phillips says he
That's
had to take
interesting.
this damning discovery to the Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines.
And she said, Tim, he says, could this, fake SAP be the basis for this persistent urban myth that the government has recovered and reverse engineered alien technology? She said, have you done a damage assessment? How many
They need to
people
do a
believe
damage
that to be
assessment.
true? And I said, ma'am, I don't know, but we estimate thousands.
After
Thousands
Phillips
were shown
sounded the
this
alarm, the
fake
Pentagon ordered the
program.
Air Force to shut down this bizarre hazing ritual in 2023.
So that's interesting. After this was uncovered, the government decided to send out, I guess, a memorandum that, hey, you can't lie and tell people that we have alien technology, even if it's a joke or a prank or a hazing ritual or whatever. Review Tech Mongolia with one for the goal. If the UFOs and aliens were made up by the government, then who's been probing my butt? And what about the lizards banging Wilcock? Well, there you go. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe that Wilcock had that experience. I think that's just more theater for his dumb as rocks followers. As for your anal probing, I have no answers for you. Sorry about your anal probing. Yeah, I hope you. I don't know. What do you do once you get anally probed? Do you like get some cream for your asshole? I don't know.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Thank you for your kindness. Review Tech Mongolia. And we will continue here.
Air Force to shut down this bizarre hazing ritual in 2023. AARO wanted to include this shocking discovery in their public report, but the Air Force requested that they hold off.
Yeah, so the Air Force was particularly sensitive to the allegations of hazing and asked that AARO hold off on including the finding in the public report. That's interesting. Hey, this is embarrassing. Don't put that in the report that the public's going to read, but now it's all coming out. 3 things cannot long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth, my friends. And here I think we're finally getting to the meat of all these fake whistleblowers and why they have. This also explains why none of them have any evidence. They just saw some documents and became convinced.
It was ultimately not included. A Pentagon spokesperson acknowledged that, quote, AARO had uncovered evidence of fake classified program materials relating to extraterrestrials, and stated this information would be included in AARO's next public report. But these pranked and hazed Air Force officials weren't the only victims of fake UFO images produced and promoted by the government. U.S. citizens were also targeted with government UFO disinformation. The government created fake UFO images to trick the public into
That's
thinking
something
what they
else.
were seeing in the sky was alien and not actually their top secret aircraft.
I don't think this has gone public yet, but there was a lot of misbehavior by our government.
No, we're
Early
live right
on,
now, Andrew.
we built these UFO cover stories to protect what we were really doing.
For example, Phillips says AARO found that the military at Area 51 created UFO images that were then leaked to UFO believers in public for the purpose of muddying the waters and concealing non-alien top-secret aircraft at Area 51.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that there's more sourcing to this, that the government has done this. As in the Benowitz case, Paul Benowitz was seeing top secret drone technology in the 1980s, unmanned aerial vehicles. And the government basically sent Richard Doty in to disinform him and make him believe that it was aliens. They convinced Paul Benowitz that aliens were visiting Earth to the point that Paul Benowitz basically went crazy and became sort of paranoid schizophrenic that aliens were invading Earth and he had to let the public know and all this stuff. That was a disinformation campaign to hide early drone technology. And we have other historical examples like the one Mr. Greenstreet just mentioned.
I was present in the skiff when we had a retired Air Force flag officer who worked out at Area 51, was asked by Force Protection to provide a portfolio of photos,
Fake photos.
Of traditional alien UFOs operating, being filmed at Area 51, and he delivered them to one of the UFO bars outside the gate out on the east side.
Because tourists were often going to Area 51 to look for UFOs.
Probably dropped them at the little
US Air Force
alien
planted fake alien spaceship
outside of
photos
Roswell,
at various
right?
tourist locations outside the base.
Or
they
outside
wanted
of Area
people to
51.
think what they saw above Area 51 was alien and not the
There it
real
is, little
top secret
alien.
project that was being tested.
We actually did that. Many years ago, our government did that.
But not all military UFO whistleblowers claim to have just seen photos or videos of UFOs. Some of the military officials interviewed by AARO claimed they actually saw alien spacecraft with their own eyes at top secret military bases.
What we discovered is
And that's very interesting.
often these people were not read into the programs. They had secondhand knowledge, or they were lawfully present at a test site. The guy was a forklift operator. He looks off and he sees something amazing. And based off their education, okay, their life experience and their personal beliefs, you see that amazing demonstration of a new technology. And depending on your background, you could make the assumption
Make
that
the
it
leap.
wasn't invented by humans.
Phillips says the descriptions of alien craft from multiple military witnesses ended up matching top secret human made aircraft being tested by the military.
So basically, they interviewed some of these witnesses that swore they saw alien technology with their own eyes, and they were able to match up to test flights and things that were for sure human made aircraft.
Their descriptions were amazing. They were right on. And then when we would go back to the historical archive or get the test director and look at the video or read the report, it was amazing. And I understand why they would leap to those conclusions. But those technologies and amazing capabilities were designed by Americans and built,
That's interesting.
manufactured, and flown by Americans.
Phillips says he was able to go to Area 51 and witness these top secret aircraft himself.
Imagine being given an open door to Area 51 and you could see everything they're test flying there. This guy is interesting for that fact alone. How many people have had the doors to Area 51 just open to them? All the hangars, all the projects, all the project managers, access to all the documents. He was given unprecedented access, and this is the conclusions that he drew, that the government is testing some really exotic technology. Let's just call it exotic technology that people are mistaking for alien technology because it's so advanced and so unorthodox. It's not ordinary. You know, there's no props, there's no jet engines, maybe. There's no visible means of propulsion. How many times have we heard that one? And people jump right to, well, there's no visible means of propulsion. It must be an alien spaceship. No, the government has an awful lot of toys in their arsenal that we don't know about, and we may never know about them.
After concerns that the secret of their existence had leaked to the public.
We thought there was a compromise of what our national security program, the sixth generation aircraft. And this very, very senior senator says, look, I want you to research this. This really concerns me. And he had asked me if I had been out to the Nevada test site. So we went through, I got read into the Air Force SAPs dealing with new advanced spacecraft and aircraft.
That's interesting.
Went out there, and
I would love to have been this guy and got briefed. And imagine that this guy's walking around knowing every secret of that the secret thing they're testing at Area 51.
some of these things we have, if you just, a guy off the street got out there and saw these things fly or touched one in a hangar, my God, they look like Klingon death ships.
Klingon death ships. Oh, that's interesting. But I could see how some science fiction, like let's take the Klingon bird of prey. That's one of my favorite Star Trek, one of my favorite Star Trek spaceships. I could definitely see how something like this could be a modern drone, right? I think maybe the bird of prey is what he was talking about when he said the words Klingon death ships, right? Or Klingon warbird. We'll try Klingon warbird. Yeah, Klingon warbird. I could see how something like that could be a modern day drone, or a configuration similar could be construed as a spaceship, right? A spaceship. Wait, I'm sorry. We'll go bigger on this so you could see some of these things. It's just the fact that he used the word Klingon death ships, right? Klingon warbird. I could see how some of these things might be, like some sort of UAV or unmanned aerial vehicle, unmanned, drone technology. I could see how there could be some drones that might look like a Klingon death ship. It's interesting that he used that analogy, but
Absolutely amazing.
And you're saying that sums up a lot of what these whistleblowers have actually seen. Oh, is right?
Exactly.
But there are still mysteries out there. A small number of UFO cases remain unsolved and very strange.
yeah, and this is what the true believers seized on. Well, it's not all a psyop. Some of them are unexplained, so aliens could still be visiting Earth. And I just want to say, unexplained does not automatically equal aliens. Just because a sighting is unexplained, that's a false equivocation to say, well, it's unexplained, it must be aliens. You're jumping to conclusions and jumping to stating facts when the evidence doesn't support that.
Phillips is concerned about these cases, since many of them occur over sensitive U.S. military locations.
A small percentage of those cases, probably less than 40, we don't know what it is. We can measure it. We know it's there. It shouldn't be there. And we want to know what it is.
Well,
and
Tim,
we're taking every step
National
to understand
security
that phenomenon.
issue. Yeah.
Well, Tim, maybe it's aliens.
Well, again, until we have evidence, I'm not going to go there. There are, there's some phenomena out there that we just don't understand. Especially, have you heard of the fiery orbs?
Oh yeah.
That when we start seeing like a corona or a discharge, a plasma discharge, and when we've had some of these really, really strange events, from the reports of the security personnel on site,
This part's
these devices they're attempting to conceal themselves. In one case, when a truck from main side was coming out onto the range, this device stopped, hovered, went off the road, and turned its friggin' lights off. Now, to me, that tells me there's a human in the loop or on the loop. Because
these could be adversarial technology surveillance platforms like the Chinese spy balloon, but maybe a little more advanced.
It was an alien that could care less. That's not what happened, okay? Now, there's some strange stuff going on there.
Out of all the cases you saw and observed, what was the one that confused you the most and still confuses you, that you're just not sure what the heck? Is it the plasma ball? What was it that's something that struck you as particularly strange?
The black triangles.
Seriously?
The black triangles. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Black
TR3B
triangles are a
sightings.
common description of reported UFOs. Within the UFO community, there are many popular stories about spooky black triangles performing in paranormal ways. In fact, I myself saw a black triangle UFO in 2003, and it was pretty impressive.
That's interesting.
And obviously, the military has their own flying black triangles that at one point they tried to keep secret. But Phillips says the black triangles he saw concerned him. He thinks they could be high-tech aircraft being flown by a foreign adversary.
Adversarial technology.
There were some reports from credible people where they saw something and they saw a flying vehicle, triangular in shape. Just good performance coming off it. Not a huge acoustic sound. Not a lot of heat picking up. They can pick off their flares.
Yeah, there's definitely still a mystery
here.
I
think it's a
adversarial technology.
An adversary, capability. I think it comes from this world, not aliens. And when we got reports of the black triangles, that's something that really pricks my ears, and I want to know more.
With these black triangles, though, on your end, are you looking at them? Are you looking at photos, videos, or are you just reading a report?
All of the above.
Wow, so
Seriously.
he's seen videos and
Yeah, a
photos.
little bit of everything. Yeah, there are things that we, like I said, there's a small percentage of the cases that we have unusual, flight characteristics and performance or anomalies that we don't understand. And that's where you have that potentially disruptive technology or emerging technology that we need to
From
understand.
our
There are some spooky
adversaries.
things and places they shouldn't be with performance characteristics that we couldn't duplicate today. So what is it? I don't know what it is, but we're going to find out.
Wow.
That's
Well, I don't know
interesting.
what's scarier, if it's China or it's Martians, you know?
All right, so there we have it. Bombshell report by Stephen Greenstreet of the New York Post. I thought we could read through the Wall Street Journal article, but this video sort of tells the same story, and it's a little bit more media friendly for our video audience. Thanks to Stephen Greenstreet for the excellent reporting. Complicated reverse friggin' engineering. Of course, baby oiled evidence by Lou Didizando. Well, thank you for that.
Raise the gas, raise the gas, raise the gas.
Yeah, and we'll get to the Lou Elizondo evidence. Me too, with £5.99, making me want a sig myself question: were Q-tards a psyop to discredit and poison the well to legit S3X crimes of powerful people? A lot of people believe that. I think it was all just one big LARP, though. I think the whole Q-tard thing was one big LARP, and it was very profitable for some people. Um, who knows? We know that most of the Q-tard stuff was all bullshit now, though. And one of the best ways to know that is because of the people who are still pushing it. People that are about as credible as crackheads like David Wilcock, right? But thank you for your kindness.
Raise the gas, raise the gas, raise the gas.
And one more from Complicated, who says Paul Scamowitz. You mean Paul Benowitz? I don't think he was a scammer. I think that he was basically psyoped. But thank you for your kindness.
Raise the gas, 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 raise the gas.
All right, thank you, Complicated, longtime show supporter. And Culinary Quest is here. Wilcock has a golden heart on over his recently achieved $1 trillion investment by the government. Pansy ass grifter, says Culinary Quest. Well, here's the interesting thing. I keep finding more proof. For those unaware, David Wilcock is claiming that somehow somebody invested $800+ billion into his shady aerospace company, who's been in business for 30 years and never produced a single airplane. We showed you, he said that the $800 billion was invested so that they could create 1,500 commercial airliners. But we showed you that like the 747 has only had 1,500 total airplanes built, and that took 50 years. So there's an awful lot of evidence that David Wilcock is full of shit. But here's one more. The entirety of money spent by NASA for everything NASA has ever done is just under $650 billion for their entire history. But somehow David Wilcock is claiming that some angel investor gave them $800 billion. I call bullshit, Culinary Quest, but thank you for your kindness. CN is here. The SR-71 was built in 1964 and to this day looks weird as hell. Imagine what the military have in 2025. Strange-looking aircraft doesn't mean aliens. Yeah, you are correct. There is definitely some exotic aircraft out there. But we thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support.
Raise the gas, raise the gas, raise the gas.
All right, and we have Complicated, who says the Chinese triangle shine. Well, thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. It is much, much appreciated.
Raise the gas, raise the gas, raise the gas.
Let me just catch up. Oh my gosh, look at this one. P18 has just gifted 50 Truth Seekers memberships, making P18 the all-time MVP of gifted memberships. I don't think anybody's ever dropped 50 memberships at once. That's some money. So we thank you, P18. Very kind and generous of you. I wish I had a better way to thank you. What can I say? Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and support, and God bless you. That'll go a long way towards some of the new equipment that we're trying to procure. We'll give you a big cash clown thank you. Thank you so much. P18 gifted 50 Truth Seekers memberships. Now, I'm not going to read everybody that got a free membership. My whole live chat is filled with you people. But if you were gifted a free membership, you probably got a notice. So thank P18 for being so generous. And listen, if you're in the live chat and you're not yet a subscriber, go smash that, go hit that subscribe button. It only takes a moment, a couple of mouse clicks, and you could win a free membership when some very kind and very generous person like P18 gifts something crazy, like, wow, that's so generous of you, something crazy like 50 Truth Seekers memberships. I've never seen somebody do that. I'm blown away. Thank you for your kindness.
Praise the gas, praise the gas, praise the gas. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the gas, praise the gas, praise the gas.
Thank you so much, P18. That's so kind and generous of you. And look, even Spooky got a free membership. I keep meaning to give Spooky the $5 every month so Spooky can be a member without paying me, right? I'm happy to see that. But thank you, P18. And I'll just read a few of the people that were gifted a membership here. Luke Horvat, you were gifted a membership by P18. Green Eggs and Ham, Moth Loves Detracting, Joe Jock Score, Jimbo, Johnny Cornbread, Farty McFly, Rufus, Not So Green Salad, Moody Mongol, King Cyber 3R, Era, Just Chad, Stokes, John Lies, Don Motorsport, Gun is a New Four-Letter Word, Jessica Hikasakacha, Scoon Drool, The Tiny Murder Muffin, the David Wilcox, Not Wilcock, Sasquatch 420 THC, Leo DC, ACH, Sofa Ninja, and so many more people were all gifted a free Truth Seekers membership. Thank you, P18. Very, very kind of you. You know, every once in a while I get a little discouraged, but something like that will keep me working and motivated and working hard for a long time. It's good to see this support. Thank you so much, P18. Let's go. Let's get some more support. Let's make it a bigger even night. This is why I'm here. Sakatcha, says Craig Williams. Some of these names, yeah, I don't have time to read all 50, CN. Very kind and generous of P18. And everybody's giving P18 big ups in the live chat. Somebody said P18 are ballers in the house. You get a membership, and you get a membership, and you get a membership, and you get a membership. P18 is the GOAT. Yeah. Yeah, I did see that, Sonia. I did see the lady at Contact in the Desert. Maybe we'll do a separate show just on Contact in the Desert. Yeah. So I wanted to show you how some of the true believers are reacting to this news. And it's interesting. For those of you unaware, David Wilcock, remember, I've just been reporting on David Wilcock's various scams over the years. He's losing his fucking mind. David Wilcock is calling for my arrest, conviction, and he wants me to get the death penalty, or at the very least, life in prison. And it seems that that kind of derangement syndrome is going around because after this article hit, some people lost their goddamn mind. And chief among them is the primary ass-licking loser of Lou Elizondo. See this guy, Matt Ford? This guy, on a daily basis, licks Lou Elizondo's asshole clean. By the way, this is fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public. And lawyer letters are standing by. This is fair use. Do not falsely copyright claim me, or that false copyright claim will revert to your channel when I appeal it and win, and I will, because I've won every single appeal I've ever filed. I am allowed, since Mr. Matt Ford of the Good UFO Propaganda Show, his show's called The Good Trouble Show, but it's really the UFO Propaganda Show. So this guy spends his entire life, this guy here, by the way, he's a loser lighting technician. That's what his real job was. But now he's probably going to make $100,000 a year pushing UFO propaganda, so he doesn't need his job anymore. This guy licks Lou Elizondo's asshole out every day. He gets in there licking Lou Elizondo's asshole. This is the biggest Lou Elizondo asshole licker on planet Earth. Maybe not. Maybe second to Rob Heatherly. These guys, that's their hero, the fake Pentagon UFO program director who keeps getting caught showing people fake UFOs for money. Congratulations, Matt Ford, you fucking loser. You are a loser, bro. You are actively helping a person who's scamming the United States public out of money for fake UFO pictures and fake UFO information. By the way, we got another one. Lou Elizondo showing people pictures of a dead, deformed baby, claiming it's an alien behind the scenes. That's what a loser you work for. That's the kind of loser whose asshole you lick on a daily basis. You boot-licking, ass-licking ass muncher. What an ass muncher. So Matt is calling for the arrest and prosecution of the people at the Wall Street Journal who broke this story. And he's crying like a little bitch because the next article is going to tear Lou Elizondo to shreds, is going to peel back all those layers of lies and deception that Lou Elizondo has used to scam the public for years now. Guy never ran a UFO program for the Pentagon. He was a desk jockey, pencil pusher loser, you moron. But if you're a true believer, hey, Lou is true, even though he keeps getting caught lying, right? Lou Elizondo is like the Team or Wish.com version of a UFO program director. Like, you want to talk to a UFO program director? Well, the real ones are hard to come by, but we got a fake one for you. And this guy has dedicated his entire life to helping a scammer scam the public. Congratulations, Matt Ford. You're helping a scammer scam the public, you moron. And I don't know if this guy's just dumb as rocks or he's just a true believer moron. Remember, he says that the spirit orbs appear at his house all the time, right? But he is calling for the arrest and prosecution by the FBI of the reporters at the Wall Street Journal who reported this story. And I just find this interesting because do you know who else is calling for the arrest and prosecution of reporters? David Wilcock. Congratulations, Matt Ford. You have reached the same level of paranoid, schizophrenic ranting and delusional fake worldview as David Wilcock, the most delusional UFO nutter on planet Earth. You have now equaled him because David Wilcock is calling for reporters' arrest and prosecution and even wants them to get the death penalty. Matt Ford is doing the same exact thing as David Wilcock is now. Let's get into it. And the clip comes from Red Panda Koala.
There is more. Shechtman and Viswantha are about to release a second story. I'm going to say that again. The Wall Street Journal and journalist Joel Shechtman and Viswantha are about to release a second story.
Yeah, and they're trying to... Lou Elizondo, this guy basically works for Lou Elizondo. He'll do anything that Lou Elizondo tells him to do. So Lou Elizondo is trying to get out ahead of this story that's going to destroy his UFO scam forever, I think. I've heard there's some dirt. There is some dirt in this upcoming article, Matt Ford, and you're going to look like a loser. You're going to look like a lying, scamming loser, just like your Lord and Master, the Midget Man, fake UFO program director, By the way, Ford, why don't you come on my show or I'll come on your show and debate you about Lou Elizondo? After all, I know his real history, that he never ran a UFO program, that he scammed the American public out of millions of dollars with To the Stars Academy, that he scammed people going to his live events out of money to show them fake UFO photos, that he scammed the American Congress, showing them a picture of an irrigation ditch that he claimed was an alien spaceship. Some expert whose butthole you spend all your time licking and caressing, you loser, right? What a fucking loser this guy is.
This story was a warm-up. What we've been talking about tonight is just the beginning. This hit piece that they
It's not a hit piece. Prove it's a hit piece, you loser.
published that's just garbage. This is just the beginning.
This is just garbage. Yeah, it's well sourced, it's well researched, and it's presented by real mainstream journalists. And you know, the UFO community has what they call their journalists. That's what they're encouraging people now. Don't get your news from real journalists with real educations in journalism and real track histories in journalism. Don't get your news about UFOs from people like that write for like the Wall Street Journal or the New York Post. Get your UFO news from our propaganda pre-selected so-called journalists. They're not journalists. They're propaganda pushing assholes who help UFO scammers scam the public. That's what you do, Matt Ford. You help UFO scammers scam the public. Congratulations.
This time, what is about to come out from the Wall Street Journal is a story attacking former Pentagon whistleblower Lou Elizondo.
He's not a Pentagon whistleblower. He never ran a Pentagon UFO program. He's not a whistleblower. What has he blown the whistle on? Fake UFO photos? Fake UFO videos? Did he blow the whistle on how him and his friends at To the Stars Academy scammed the public and public investors out of millions of dollars? What happened to all that money, Matt Ford, you moron? Why don't you tell your audience that Lou Elizondo took part in what can only be called a techno investment scam? What has been called in writing in the Washington Spectator a techno investment scam, in which investors were scammed out of millions of dollars and never got what they were promised. Why don't you talk about that, Matt Ford?
That's right. They are going down Ken Klippenstein territory and throwing an American veteran under the bus.
For those unaware, Ken Klippenstein is the one who broke the story that David Grush was a former mental patient, alcoholic with post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, that wasn't throwing him under the... Listen, if you're going to go on the national stage and say outrageous things like the government has alien technology, oh, and by the way, interdimensional space monster goblins are on Earth murdering humans, then people are going to look into your background, and that's all that journalist did. It wasn't a hit piece.
A man that has given so much to this cause.
Oh, he's given so much to this cause. Matt Ford, you fucking moron. He hasn't had a real job since 2017. Let me say that again. He's given so much to this cause. Okay, he's given so much to this cause. What has he taken? Dollar after dollar after dollar he has extracted from the UFO community. For years now, Lou Elizondo has extracted every dollar he could out of UFO fans, UFO believers, and the UFO community at large. He's gotten book deals, television show deals, documentary deals, public speaking deals, and more. To the best of my knowledge, he hasn't had a real job since 2017. He's free to correct me. We're going to want to see some tax returns, though, Matt. How much money did Lou Elizondo make when him and his buddies scammed the investors of To the Stars Academy out of millions of dollars? How much was his take, Matt Ford? He's given so much. What has he taken? How much was his take for the History Channel television show deal, which he got under false pretenses? He basically scammed the History Channel into believing that he ran a government UFO program he never ran. How much money did he take to do that television show? How much money did he take for getting a book deal? And right on the cover of his book, he lies to everybody and says that he ran a government UFO program that he never ran. It wasn't funded. It wasn't a real program. It wasn't a recognized program. It was his hobby while he worked in a completely different capacity at the Pentagon and had no assigned responsibilities whatsoever around UFOs. He's given so much to this cause. How much has he taken from the cause? How much credibility has he destroyed with his fake shit that he keeps getting caught pushing? The fake chandelier video, the fake irrigation ditch video. And now we have him showing people a fake alien photo that turns out to be a deformed human baby. How much has he taken, Matt? I don't want to hear about what he's given. He hasn't had a job since 2017. I don't know many people who could take a 7-year vacation from working for a living every day, but it appears that's exactly what your hero, Lou Elizondo, has done. Millions of dollars extracted from the UFO community with To the Stars Academy. Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars paid to him for book deals and TV show deals and documentary deals. He scammed the public for live speaking about UFOs, in which he was going to spill the UFO secrets. What secrets did he spill? He spilled a fake picture of a UFO mothership. Matt Ford, I don't want to hear about what he's given. What has he taken? He's taken all credibility away from this subject matter. Because of Lou Elizondo, people laugh at this. Because of his constantly getting caught pushing fake stuff, that's the reason why, UFOs, those are fake. And people believe that because people like Lou Elizondo keep getting caught pushing obviously fake things as something alien or extraordinary. So pardon me if I don't care what you have to say. And one of my favorite things, Matt Ford, is this mothership video in which he lies to the paying public. People paid money to go to this event, Matt Ford, and he told people, I talked to the pilots that saw this alien mothership. There was no pilots. The picture was a reflection of a chandelier in a glass window taken from an apartment. Let's review that, Matt Ford.
Unimaginably seemed impossible. They described it as literally the mothership, looking like the mothership from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Now, if any of you ever seen that movie, remember the very end, this huge mini city floating in the sky and turns upside down. Guess what we caught in Romania in 2022? By the way, the U.S. Embassy. I'm behind the scenes. I'm behind the scenes. I'm behind the scenes. As literally the mothership. The mothership. The mothership. That whistleblowers. Not behind the scenes. That whistleblowers. Not behind the scenes. That whistleblowers. Not behind.
Matt Ford, he took money from people to show them a fake alien mothership. He lied and said he talked to the pilots that photographed it. He lied and said it was photographed at the American Embassy. It wasn't. All of those were lies. And here you are propping up a known proven liar, defending a known proven liar, because a Wall Street Journal article is going to come out soon, and it's going to wreck your fake false UFO Messiah hero. It's going to wreck him, and I'm here for it. Suffer, bitch!
So much that has put his family through hell
doing
the right
hell of
thing.
all that money. All that money.
A man who has been in battle, who has served this country.
Is there proof he's been in battle? Have we seen evidence or proof that Lou Elizondo was ever in any battles? And I don't mean his fake war stories, right? Oh, he's put his family through hell. You mean the hell of all those UFO dollars that have been flowing into his pockets since 2017 for his fake story he made up? That's been hell? All that free money?
With distinction. And sure enough, The Wall Street Journal and its cadre of hitmen and hitwomen, probably under the direction of the Pentagon, which, let's face it, has a very long history of just throwing our American veterans under the bus.
No, they don't have a long history of that. You're making that up because your hero is going to get wrecked in an upcoming article, and I can't wait to read it.
They're publishing another article.
That's right, Matt.
The Wall Street Journal is publishing another article.
It's going to be a lot harder to lie to people soon, Matt. Maybe you ought to go back to lighting for, second-rate celebrities in Las Vegas. Maybe you ought to go back to that.
It's going to be more lies. It's going to be more disinformation. And this time, attacking veteran and American patriot Lou Elizondo.
How does he know it's going to be disinformation and lies? He hasn't read the article yet. The article hasn't published. So, preemptively, before even reading the article, this is research by proclamation, Matt Ford, you intellectual weakling and you coward. You haven't even read the article and you've already proclaimed that it's going to be disinformation and lies. How do you know? Have you researched the article after reading it? Have you found witnesses that refute what the witnesses in that article are going to state? This is research by proclamation. I, Matt Ford of the Good Propaganda Show, am here, and I declare that coming article that no one has read yet, nobody even knows what's in it. You don't know what evidence they have, you moron. I love it. I love it. This moron went out on a limb, go right to the edge of the cliff. Oh, that article is going to be disinformation and misinformation. You haven't read it. You don't even know what's in it. How can you say it's disinformation and misinformation, you loser?
Now, Lou Elizondo actually provided a statement, quote, "The absurdity of the Wall Street Journal article is not only..."
And this is a grifter who's been grifting and scamming the American public off of spooky fake UFO stories since 2017, and whose entire career in being a UFO scammer was started with a lie that he ran a Pentagon UFO program he never ran. This is him trying to preserve his grift. He's trying to keep the scam going. But I'm here to tell you that I think that Wall Street Journal article that's coming up, I have some good information that's going to destroy his grift. He's going to be working, tiny UFO conventions in Wichita, Kansas for $200 after that article comes out. And I'm here for it. This guy is going to try to say, oh, those people are lying, but I'm not. Well, the Wall Street, how many times did those two journalists specifically that wrote that Wall Street Journal article, how many times did they get caught running a techno investment scam, Lou Elizondo? How many times did they get caught lying about their work history at the Pentagon, Lou Elizondo? How many times did those two journalists get caught showing people fake UFO photos for money at public events? Oh, that's right. That was you that was caught lying all those times, not those two journalists.
Only a disingenuous piece. It appears to be well orchestrated by the usual players in the Department of Defense. This is shameful. Furthermore, impugning the credibility of military whistleblowers and eyewitnesses over decades to support the narrative of a few who only now admit they were aware of a deception campaign against the American people, Congress, and the president.
Oh,
this is anti-democratic. This is anti-democratic in my...
No, it's anti-grift. This is wrecking his grift. And by the way, this is how you know that Lou Elizondo's grift is at its end, because there was a time when Lou Elizondo could have gone on CNN with his rebuttal. He could have gone on Fox News or many other news channels. None of them will have him now because the word has gotten out that he's a fake Pentagon UFO whistleblower. He had no assigned responsibilities around UFOs. His job wasn't UFOs. He didn't run a $22 million funded program like he first claimed. It was his hobby to look for UFOs while he was working at the Pentagon in a completely unrelated job. Great.
My opinion. He goes on to state, I am also aware that part 2 of the article will work hard to try and discredit others, including me, in order to convince you, the people, this topic is not worth looking into.
Well, how much more do we have to look into the topic before you're forced to admit that you have no evidence, Lou Elizondo? You know, like you collected millions of dollars with To the Stars Academy. How much of that money was used to look into this? How much money did you collect with your television show that whose point of the show was to look into this? How much money has Congress wasted looking into this? How much more money are we going to waste looking into this? You keep getting caught showing people fake evidence of aliens, you loser, scumbag, clown, grifter. How much more do we have to look into it? How about you put up the real evidence that you claim is that you're in possession of, but can't show us for whatever reason? I'm calling his bluff. Lou Elizondo has been bluffing. The aliens are here. The aliens are here since 2017. He's got nothing but fake photos and fake stories and fake evidence.
Personally, I think the Department of Defense just opened a whole new can of worms for itself if it approved these statements being made. Wow. Again, that is from former Pentagon official Lou Elizondo.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't complete my thought. So Lou Elizondo is so desperate that he had to release his statement to this loser, who is a UFO propaganda mouthpiece for scammers. He hosts scammers, he promotes scammers, he promotes their fake scammy stories. That's who he had to release his statement to. Some guy on YouTube. You know why? Because no real news organization cares what Lou Elizondo has to say. His days of the big grift are over. And his grift, like many in the UFO grifter community, is coming crashing down.
Issuing those 2 statements to the Good Trouble Show.
Yeah, he had to issue his statements to some guy on YouTube because nobody cares what Lou Elizondo has to say because he keeps getting caught selling fake shit over and over and over and over again. And in another clip from this broadcast, Matt Ford called for the FBI to investigate and arrest the journalists who wrote this article. I think that says a lot about the veracity of the claims that he is making. All right, Complizer with 222. Elizondo. Yes, Elizondo. That's Lou Elizondo. I used to call him Lou Lizolato. And Complizer with another one who says, and don't get your UAP from David Wilcock too. Well, thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. It is much, much appreciated.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
And we thank CN for $4.99. Says the cause of grifting. And Complizer with another one. Lou Elizondo is Poltergeist Beaver, maybe? And CN with another one. Shameless Lou will find a way to keep up grifting, just like Stephen the Grift Greer. These guys can't help themselves. Well, it really does beat a real live job. And thank you, CN, and thank you, Complizer. Lie a liar Zondo. Yes, absolutely. And thank both of you guys for your kindness. You guys are making it rain up in here. Thank you. And Complizer, thank you as well. And we thank Anna Louisa, who says, praise the cash. Yes, absolutely. Praise it. Thank you for your kindness.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
I'm sorry, friends. I'm trying to catch up. And Complizer, I'm an Intel guy. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you, Complizer, for your kindness.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Railroad Bum says, happy birthday to your younger son, Stephen. An excellent stream tonight. Praise the cash. I know he's not watching this because he's at karate with his mom, Railroad Bum. I'm so excited because he's been asking me for a retro console, like a mini console for a long time. And I found one that's just like I don't know how many games. You know they lie, right? When they say this comes with 3,000 games because there's a lot of duplicates. But I got him this little console that plays Nintendo, Genesis, Super Nintendo, and a couple of other console games, Atari, and a bunch of others. I can't wait to give it to him. We're having cake and ice cream, and then we're going to give it to him. So thank you, Railroad Bum.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
So he got to open all of his presents from our family, except for my wife's presents and my presents, which we decided to save for today. But thank you, Railroad Bum. And I found that song you wrote about Dark Side Phil and the video I made of it. It'll be on the next pig roast, hopefully this weekend. And thank you very much, Railroad Bum. And Trolley Troll Troll is here. Tell the Cash Clown I'm rooting for him to catch more and bigger fish than his dad. Hey, he does not need encouragement. For those unaware, we have a fishing tournament at the cabin every year. And 2 years running now, my younger son beats me. But in my defense, you know, he gets his line tangled and I have to untangle it, or I have to restring his line with a bobber and a hook and a weight. And I have to bait his hook sometimes. So I think he's cheating because he has me helping him fish and I can't keep up. But thank you, Trolley Troll Troll.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
And then we have Complicated with another one. El Liazardo never grew, the small whites are real. Forget about the tall whites. And thank you. And Complicated with another one. Matt F is in a anal probing for shizzle my nizzle. What? Steve Broody, do you also love Cobra Kai as much? Yeah, I love that. I loved Karate Kid growing up. I love Cobra Kai. Thanks for making it rain up in here. Complicated, longtime show supporter.
Raise the cash, 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 raise the cash.
All right, I have a few more things that I want to share because we're not done shitting on Lou Elizondo. This one comes from Tubacabra, and I can't. Kurt Metzger was on the Joe Rogan show, and he roasts UAP disclosure with Joe Rogan and calls out the ties to the deep state. And I got to say, I'm here for it, right? And thank you, Complicated. Some old classics on that console. Happy birthday to your boy. Thank you, Dave B. I appreciate it. No sign of soggy sandwich. All right, so this one is interesting because I think a lot of people are experiencing what I call disclosure fatigue. We're tired of the spooky stories. We're tired of the trust me, bro, evidence-free stories, and people are starting to call them out. By the way, this is fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public. We'll just be playing a short clip from the Joe Rogan show, who's got one of those anti-pirate vultures that copyright claims everybody. But I think this is important. And even if the stream gets demonetized, I'm going to play this. But thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support, because if I have all these super chats, I'm not gonna cry about the $10 or $20 or $50, whatever it could be, in ad revenue that we lose. I have to be able to share the information I need to share. So this is Kurt Metzer on the Joe Rogan show, basically calling out the UFO grifters and their spooky nonsense.
It's all the same. I keep seeing the same cycle of like the UAPs.
Unexplained aerial phenomenon.
Yes.
So they're having hearings, and Chuck Schumer, that paragon of virtue is like, or is he sick of the lies? And he's signing a bill.
He's sick of the lies, Kurt.
Oh,
we come right before the office of Senator Schumer to express our appreciation for his leadership.
And
he's representing the people.
Dude, Lou Elizondo risked his career to tell us there might be something he might have heard, and it might be dangerous. And there's a document.
Yeah, and I think that this gentleman is misinformed, because Lou Elizondo didn't risk his career. He got tired of his career and he wanted a new career as a UFO grifter, and he sure got one.
And I'm going to see James Clapper on a documentary. James fucking Clapper. He gets an attack of the honesties.
Yeah, this loser James Clapper, who lied about the Hunter Biden laptop story and helped cover that up, he gets an attack of the honesties. And James Clapper in this upcoming documentary is going to tell us the truth about UFOs.
About UFOs. Hunter's laptop, though, he's going to sign that shit, right? But this fucker's going to tell me the truth now. So I don't think there's something.
Yeah, and I agree. Of course, there's something. There are some mysterious, unexplained sightings. But this constant grift of aliens has got to stop.
Yeah, I know there is, because you wouldn't be all like how they're being about it. But I'm sick of this J.J. Abrams mystery box storytelling, you know?
Yeah, well, there's definitely a lot of propaganda.
It's all the same.
There's definitely a lot of propaganda. Propaganda is the key word. And it's interesting. When you start losing Joe Rogan, your grift is at its end, my friends. And Nigel Chapman, this is what I was chuckling about earlier. I read this. Nigel Chapman says, we're going to skip that word. Let's just say he uses uppers and paint thinner to commune with the great Father Yakub. Can I monetize this? Yeah, do it. Record it, Nigel Chapman. It'll be awesome. You could talk to the aliens. You could channel them. Record that shit. Send it to me at truthseekershow@gmail.com the next time you're hopped up on that substance and paint. So I started cracking up because I had this image of somebody snorting stuff and huffing paint thinner, right? To see the aliens.
Raise the gas, raise the gas, raise the cash.
All right, CN with 199 says, happy birthday to your boy. Thank you. I can't wait to have the cake and the ice cream. And I think we have cheesecake because my wife knows I'm not like a regular cake person, but I'll eat cheesecake. I'm a pie guy and cheesecake guy. Like I love chocolate custard pie, banana cream pie, cherry pie, blueberry pie. Not a big fan of cake. I never was. Cake and icing? No, not really. But thank you so much.
Raise the gas, raise the gas, raise the cash.
All right, Complizared with another one. Complizared trying to make it rain up in here. Elizondo surely is a shiro. A hero? A shiro. Okay.
Raise the gas, 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 raise the gas.
All right, Thomas Robinson with 5. Protecting aliens since 1947 with Big Nothing Burger. To wash it down with a no disclosure shake. Laugh out loud. I can't say I disagree with you.
Raise the gas, raise the gas, raise the gas.
Thank you, Thomas Robinson. And CN with another one. James Fox, new documentary grift coming soon. Yeah, there's always another documentary to be sold.
Raise the gas, raise the gas, raise the cash.
All right. Complizared says meth heads in med beds. Yes.
Raise the gas, raise the gas, raise the cash.
I think you have to be on drugs to believe some of the stuff that some of these people believe. It is really absolutely ridiculous, right? It just seems absolutely ridiculous to me. So we've covered the recent reporting of Stephen Greenstreet in the Wall Street Journal. I know we didn't read the Wall Street Journal, but it's behind a paywall, and I happen to get a copy, but I don't feel I don't feel very good sharing it. They're trying to get subscribers. So if you're really interested, go give them the $1 a week. I haven't because I don't like the Wall Street Journal. If it was in the New York Times, I would spring for it. But we're going to leave you with a feltoning of Lou Elizondo, because in a Spaces last night, 2 separate individuals revealed that Lou Elizondo was showing people images that he claimed were of an alien to people behind the scenes. You know, that secret group where if you're loyal to the grift squad, you get to see extra goodies. And this is really absolutely despicable. So despicable that even other UFO grifters are calling Lou Elizondo out on this one. Lou Elizondo is sharing these photos that he claims are of an alien. And Jeff Knox says, exploiting images of a child suffering from harlequin ichthyosis. That's the condition that this poor human being depicted in these pictures is suffering from. It's a real medical condition that basically causes a tremendous amount of deformities, and usually the child, if they have this harlequin ichthyosis, is stillborn at birth. And by the way, there were other images that Lou apparently did not share, including one of a mother holding this deceased baby with this terrible condition. And this is Ron James from MUFON. This is the alien that is being shown. So, Stacy from the Daily Mail, of course, wants to cover this. Yeah, of course. You guys should do a story on this narrative control cult that always ties back to Elizondo. So the story is that Lou Elizondo is showing people these images behind closed doors, and he told Ron, you can share it around, but don't let it loose in the wild. And there was even a senator or a congressman that wanted to see the photo, and Lou would not show it to them. Most likely because he knew this is not an image of an alien. This is an image of a deformed dead baby. This is the level of disgustingness that we have gotten to. The UFO industry, and let's be clear, it is an industry, it's a business, is so despicable and so disgusting that losers like Lou Elizondo are willing to show people pictures of dead babies and claim that they're pictures of aliens, captured aliens at Area 51 or whatever the backstory is. It's absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely despicable. And I, for one, cannot believe this. I can't believe that Lou Elizondo. So how many fake things that Lou Elizondo is sharing to people are we up to? There's the what I think are the fake 3 videos he originally released. They're nothing extraordinary like he promised. There was the TTSA scam, the chandelier scam, the irrigation ditch scam, and more. Now there's the alien dead baby scam. Great job, Lou Elizondo. And Nigel Chapman says, on my way to mix gasoline fumes and LSD to journey to Hyperborea in my medbed. Thank you for believing in me. Oh, you guys are going to get me in trouble. All right. And don't touch me. I'm crazy is here with one for the goal. The grift was over when they started trying to make it a religious topic with Immaculate Constellation. That's the bottom of the barrel. I can't say I disagree with you, but thank you. All right. And Thomas Robinson is here with one, just saying happy birthday. Thank you. And we've got Complizared with another one. Feck 'em for this one. Okay. Feck 'em for this one then. Yeah. All right. So I think we've done our due diligence, and I appreciate all of you for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. It is much, much appreciated. I wasn't expecting this much support today, but I am glad. I mentioned there would be overtime, so we will do just a little bit of overtime. I do have to get out of here. Baby Lemon with pom-poms in his hands, cheerleading from James. That's a super sticker. Someday our software will correctly translate those, and I apologize. All right. So we've hit our overtime goal. We're going to go, and I thought it'd be interesting for the overtime if we look at the COPE, the believer perspective. And so what is happening is that the believer side, and it's especially the grifters, the people that make their full-time living from this, they are losing their fucking minds. They are coping and seething and trying to come up with any excuse to keep the alien UFO grift going. Even though this recent reporting, yes, you do get the slop. This is the slop. Richard Dolan is the slop. Richard Dolan got caught scamming the public with fake pictures that people claimed were of the Roswell alien, turned out to be a deformed baby. Gee, another guy scamming the public off of a deformed baby, just like Lou Elizondo. Spooky. But the grift is ridiculous with this. And so everybody, especially these losers that make their full-time living out of aliens and UFOs, they know that this reporting is devastating. It's devastating. All those stories about crash retrievals, likely all bullshit. All those stories from the whistleblowers who claimed with 100%, they were 100% certain the government has alien bodies and alien technology, and they're back engineering them. All bullshit. We have a reasonable explanation for why many people believe that. But the alien UFO grifters and scammers, by the way, this guy's scamming the public. This guy, Richard Dolan, him and his high-ranking Scientologist wife, that's right, his wife is a Scientologist, but I guess she's hot, so Richard Dolan has to play along, right? Him and his grifter wife are scamming the public for superpowers for $149, I believe it is. You could take a class and get remote viewing psychic superpowers from this guy. Very, very credible. And for those that don't know, Richard Dolan masquerades as like an academic, an intellectual, a researcher. His research is piss poor. And I think when he started, he had good intentions, but like many, he fell into the grift squad.
Greetings. Last week, the Wall Street Journal, actually, I think 4 days ago, the Wall Street Journal, that paragon of the establishment, published the first part of what we are told is going to be a two-part series, or maybe a multi-part series, but I think two. It is a pretty strong take on the subject of UFOs.
Dolan sent me a newsletter.
Actually.
Oh, the grift is alive. By the way, we're citing fair use.
It's behind a paywall. I was able to read it because some very nice person, a member of my website, provided me with the whole article, so I was able to read it.
So he stole it.
I don't.
Nice.
I'll link to the article, but you're going to need to find a way to get to that. If someone here has the article, they want to paste it in a comment, hey, I'm not going to complain, but that's up to you.
So you're encouraging piracy because you're a grifter.
But I do want to talk about this. So this is called the Pentagon Disinformation That Fueled America's UFO Mythology. It's by Joel Schechtman and Aruna Viswanatha. They've written pieces for the journal before, and also which have touched upon UFOs, all in, not surprisingly, a very skeptical tone throughout. But the central thesis of this piece is very, very interesting, is that really much, maybe all, most of the United States' modern belief in UFOs, and particularly claims involving crashed saucers, reverse engineering programs, and government cover-ups, all of that, this did not originate from real encounters or from actual alien technology.
Look at him cope. Look at him seethe. Look at him. He's coping and seething.
But rather, it originated from intentional disinformation campaigns conducted by the Pentagon during the Cold War and beyond. So yes, they were trying to make you believe in aliens.
Yeah, and by the way, this guy claims to be a historian. On tonight's broadcast, I gave you a great deal of history that proves 100% unequivocally that the United States government has actively encouraged and promoted UFO and alien stories to hide top secret black budget projects. We know that. It's a historical fact. This guy claims to be a historian, yet he's going to throw this whole article and the idea that the government uses aliens and UFOs to cover the black projects. He's going to throw that all under the bus as it's all hogwash. He's trying to, all these grifters are freaking out trying to preserve the con, because how many people are going to check out of the whole UFO story now? Go, oh, it was all like a psyop. The government lied to everybody that they had alien technology and people believed it and ran around repeating stories about it. So it's all bullshit. A lot of people are going to be checking out, and he's trying to preserve his grift.
All right, well, before I continue, let me just remind you, if you like this video, please do share it, subscribe to my channel, all of that. So the article it references a number of previously undisclosed interviews with more than, I think, 24 current and former national security officials.
Yes. So in other words, it's very well sourced and very well researched, Richard Dolan.
As well as, it says, thousands of pages of internal documents. So, according to the authors, the sources indicate that for decades, the U.S. military and especially the Air Force actively spread false information about UFOs to protect classified weapons programs.
Yes. And Richard Dolan, supposedly being a student of history, knows that the government has done this. He knows about the examples I've cited, the U-2 spy plane, the Oxford Oxcart program, the SR-71 Blackbird, the stealth fighters. In each of those cases, the government used UFO disinformation to cover for them.
So there are a number of key examples here. One of them involves a former Air Force colonel in the 1980s. We do not know this man's name. He reportedly handed over doctored photographs of flying saucers to a civilian bar owner near Area 51.
Yes. And also, Richard Doty handed off fake UFO images to Bill Moore, Paul Benowitz, and others. So there's historical precedents that prove that the government has done this before.
These photos were intended to distract public attention away from experimental aircraft being tested at the base.
Which
and
no
the
one knows
really
that
makes
they have done
the case
that.
like this was not an isolated event. This was actually part of a larger pattern of strategic deception. There's another element of the article that talks about what is described as institutional hazing, essentially, within the classified military programs. They called it Yankee Blue. So they had multiple unnamed sources. All of them are unnamed.
Coming from the guy who uses Mr. X on his show. You use anonymous sources all the time. But when a real journalist does it, you attack that. This guy has used anonymous sources to sell. This guy once said that he had the classified UAP report from an anonymous source, and we proved that he was full of shit in that case. We wrecked him on that.
We're told that new personnel in certain black programs were sometimes misled into believing that they were being inducted into secret alien technology retrieval efforts. So the article basically claims that this contributed to the persistent rumors within military circles, within intelligence circles, about non-human craft, about reverse engineering efforts, and then these rumors eventually leaked into public discourse. So that's basically that argument. They also revisited the famous 1967 Malmstrom Air Force Base incident. This is when nuclear missiles were
another
shut
UFO
down
fake
in one
story.
way or another. Apparently, and I would say
Chewbacca
as far as
of
the evidence
remote
and testimony
viewing.
goes,
Well, thank
during
you.
a UFO encounter.
Where's the gas? Where's the gas?
Some people say it was something else that caused that. And in fact, this article does say something else caused that. It offers a totally new explanation. And it says that the malfunction of these missiles, there were quite a few of them, was caused by an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, test that was conducted by the U.S. government itself. So the U.S.
Yes, which caused a power failure.
Knocked its own missiles out. It wasn't some unknown craft, but the U.S. did an EMP test, basically as a test to see whether like a nuclear blast would knock out the missile. So rather than detonate a nuclear weapon, they detonated an equal EMP blast that would equal that of a nuclear explosion, essentially.
And there's verifiable proof that there was a power failure at the base which caused the missiles to malfunction. So it's in line with currently available information. Look at him cope. Look at him seethe, trying to explain all this away.
So that's what they're saying. So that was the true cause of the incident, according to the article. And there's more. I mean, the article basically just maintains that all of this propagation of UFO stories and lore served several important functions for the military. First, it misled foreign adversaries
Dolan
about
thinks people
American
trust him.
capabilities.
No.
It helped to
Nobody
hide
trusts
the
Dolan
existence
except
of
for morons.
classified aircraft. It gave cover for different types of sensitive national security operations. So it did not explicitly deny all unexplained aerial sightings. I wouldn't say it went that far.
Yeah, it didn't explain away all of them, but a lot of them.
But it did very strongly suggest that the mythology, and that's one of the words they use here, surrounding UFOs, and especially the idea of recovered alien craft and all the secret government knowledge. All of this was deliberately fabricated by American officials for strategic reasons.
Yeah.
They also drew on some
Makes a lot of
recent
sense.
reports, like the 2024 AARO report, to support their idea that there's no credible evidence of non-human tech or evidence of a cover-up by the government. They are...
Well, Dolan, you're free to show us some evidence of alien technology. You can't, and you won't. You've been grifting off of this for decades, bro. Decades, and you don't have one verifiable, real piece of evidence of alien visitation on Earth or alien technology? Why don't you just throw it down on the table? Here's the alien technology, bitches. Yous are liars. But he can't, and he won't.
Argue that many of these aspects of the UFO narrative originated as part of a Cold War disinformation strategy.
Yes.
That has now taken on a life of its own.
And you bought it, you dumbass.
In the public imagination. That's basically the thesis. You might be able to get a copy of the article. So there's a couple of revealing things about this article. One thing I just think needs to be pointed out here relating to the Wall Street Journal in general. From 2017 onward, as the UFO or now UAP story gained momentum, really starting in December of that year, I mean, we had Navy pilots speaking out, we had Congress starting to launch inquiries.
Yeah, and none of that.
If you go back over the Wall Street Journal's pieces, I mean, mostly they remained on the sidelines. They did engage occasionally in this subject, and when they did, it was usually with a very skeptical reporting, some occasionally, I would say, snarky editorial. What you never found with
they're snarky because they don't believe in my faith-based religion that aliens are visiting Earth. Even though I have no evidence for that, they're snarky because they're skeptical of it.
The Journal, or really with any of these mainstream publications, the legacy media, is a genuine curiosity or what you might consider investigative depth. That was never the case with the Wall Street Journal. They had a very clear tone, very distant, very dismissive, and always aligned with official narratives. And that's really what we all have come to expect with the Wall Street Journal. It is one of the main pillars of the establishment.
If you can't attack the article and the sourcing and the excellent research, attack it any way that you can. Just right to character assassination. Oh, they're just they just toe the line with the government and believe, sure.
Establishment. So in that sense, this latest article is not a departure at all. But I would say it feels more like a culmination. You've had years of skepticism. So the Journal did not shift to inquiry. No, they doubled down on their already chosen position on this. I think what's different with this article is the scale.
And that position directly refutes my grift, so I don't like this article.
And the intensity of what they're really saying here. This is a complete attempt to recast the entire modern UFO narrative as deliberate Pentagon disinformation.
Well, it may very well be,
a continuation of the same attitude.
He can't even accept the possibility that this article is correct. And if you listen to some of these true believers, they're all doing the Cope C thing right now. And they're grasping at straws with these terrible arguments for why it's still, the government could still have aliens. No, come on, man.
But it's louder, maybe. And as I'm going to suggest, it's a much more strategic expression of the position that they've held all along. But first, before I get into that, I want to break down the article just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So this
is great. So basically, Richard Dolan argues there's no documents, no names, just vague anonymous claims. Does that sound familiar? Kind of like every UFO and alien stories. How about the fucking Wilson documents, you asshole? How about that story? How much money did you make from that? You fucking scumbag grifter selling superpowers with your asshole wife. How about that? How about that story? That was anonymous sourced for how long? Until Davis finally admitted that he wrote the notes. How about the fact that the major person in the Wilson Davis notes, Admiral Wilson, completely and totally refuted the notes and called them a work of fiction? You basically said that he was a liar. A decorated Navy admiral is lying, but this UFO scammer friend of mine, Eric Davis, is telling the truth. Reduces serious reports to jokes and pranks. Ignores key evidence. You have ignored every skeptical bit of evidence. You pushing the Maelstrom thing. You never reported on the power failure. You never reported on the fact that the UAP sightings or UFO sightings and the actual failure of the missiles was a week apart or more. You never reported on that. You ignore key evidence all the time. Not an investigation, just a narrative reset. Yeah, I am totally sick of this guy. So what we're going to do is he's attacking the credibility of the Wall Street Journal reporters in his stupid video, seething, trying to keep his... Listen, the Wall Street Journal hasn't been grifting off of alien stories for 2 decades. You have. The Wall Street Journal's not selling people superpowers for $149 or whatever you're charging. You have. You're selling people superpowers while you're talking about the Wall Street Journal is not a credible news organization. You scumbag grifter. So just to give you a history lesson, here's just one time. I have 4 examples where we've caught him completely and totally lying to a paying audience. Let's review. Let's check out his credibility. Let's determine if does he use anonymous sources? This is him getting caught selling another fake story. We've caught him selling multiple fake stories. Over and over and over again, he gets caught selling fake stories. Richard Dolan, caught using another fake source to sell another fake story. Richard Dolan lied. Yeah, and by the way, Richard Dolan can't prove that the Wall Street Journal is just using fake sources. But I can prove that he uses fake sources. He has no classified information to share. If he did, he and whoever leaked it to him would face jail time. His source and the info he shared was fake. He is not getting leaks of classified information like he claimed. So the story behind this story is that he claimed that people were leaking classified documents and information to him, the classified version of the UAP report. He had nothing. He had a fake anonymous source, and trust me, bro, I know what's in the classified version, so that he could clickbait morons on the internet. He's not a historian. He's not an investigative journalist. He's not even a good researcher. He's a grifter! There would be consequences for him. He ran with a fake source he didn't bother to verify yet again. You cannot take notes from classified documents and leak them, not without risking jail time. Who's risking jail time for Richard Dolan? Intentionally disclosing classified information without authorization is a federal crime under the Espionage Act. Punishment may be up to 10 years in prison,
moron audience
fine,
didn't know this.
or could even get you charged with treason.
It came to my attention
He's talking about
that at least
me.
one guy out there just...
He's talking about me in this clip. I went nuts because I knew that he was lying to everybody and he didn't have access to classified information like he claimed to his morons, dumb as rocks audience. Richard Dolan, your audience is dumb as rocks because they let you just claim that you had access to classified information, which would be highly illegal and get you arrested. But your audience are morons, so they just believed you. And so I did a video basically yelling and screaming that he was a lying, scamming grifter. And he heard about it. And then he put this video behind a paywall, but we were able to get it.
It came to my attention that at least one guy out there just thought, like, really just tried to rip into me over this.
Yeah, I did.
And
I felt it, you
brought to my
badly.
attention, and I was like, what are you getting so worked up over here? Like, accusing me of leaking classified information and that I could,
You said
better
you
get
had
a lawyer
it and you
all
were
this.
going to leak it.
No, I mean,
He
I
said
didn't
he
leak
had
any
classified information.
This is all
And he was gonna
third
leak
hand.
it.
This is apparently from the classified portion of the UAP report. No, I mean, I didn't leak any classified information. This is apparently from the classified portion of the UAP report.
Suffer! Fake
I didn't leak any
historian!
classified
Suffer!
information. So maybe this will be something I will be diving into more in the future. I mean, I didn't leak any classified information. This is all third-hand and a alleged description of what is in the classified document.
Yeah, so he's attacking the Wall Street Journal, who have all first-person sources. He was willing, by his own admission here, to use third-hand sourcing, and anonymous third-hand sourcing at that. But he's going to attack the credibility of the Wall Street Journal. You fucking sell superpowers with your wackadoo wife. You have no credibility. How dare you attack the credibility of real journalists? You fucking scumbag, grifter, scammer that's been at this for decades.
I don't feel that what I did was wrong in the least. This is apparently from the classified portion of the UAP report. Doesn't mean that I don't have a moral compass. I like to think that I do.
Yeah. Did you give the money back when you scammed all those people for the Roswell images?
I want to share with you information that was leaked to me. I'm not here to say that it's
He's getting
that
classified
I know this
leaked.
is true.
Yeah,
this
right.
is apparently from the classified portion of the UAP report. What are you getting so worked up over here? Like, accusing me of leaking classified information. I want to share with you information that was leaked to me just about an hour before I went live. This is apparently from the classified portion of the UAP report. One guy.
Yeah, so he's getting so mad because I called him out. He said that he had classified information and he was going to leak it. That's what he said, and he was going to keep that grift going, but I wrecked this grift and he had to move on to another scam.
Out there just thought, like, really just tried to rip into me over this. So maybe this will be something that we'll be diving into more in the future.
Caught selling another fake story. Oh no. So that's the guy who's attacking the credibility of the Wall Street Journal, a guy who's been caught selling fake alien images of a Roswell alien that turned out to be a museum exhibit. It was a dead mummified child. The guy who's selling superpowers with his wackadoo wife. The guy who uses anonymous sources, who claims he's going to leak classified information on YouTube. This is the guy who's complaining about the credibility of those Wall Street Journal people. Complizared, Stephen Brew, you should get the sneezing monkey as a guest. I would do that. I would definitely do that. Complizared with another one. NASA did find signs of life on Snickers. I don't know what that means. And Complizared, Richard, no, I man. I don't know what that means either. But we thank you for your kindness. Complizared is the reason we had to do this overtime, because he kept dropping $2 super chats all night, but we thank him for that. You guys love to make me work harder, but I gave you some slop, so eat the slop, piggies.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right, and another one. Dolan on the latest Danny Jones didn't even know Autech. Yeah, that we might cover that, but thank you.
Raise the cash, 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 raise the cash.
All right. So we've done our due diligence and we've even done some overtime. I tried to tell my wife I was going to keep this to 90 minutes, but we're almost at 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I've got just enough time left to avoid divorce, right? My wife and my children are probably waiting for me right now to do the cake and ice cream and sing my son happy birthday for a second time. We did at his party, but we'll have a little more intimate setting tonight. He's going to be opening his gifts. We thank you all for your kindness. I'm going to leave you tonight with my piece that was edited by Spooky, by the way. Shout out to Spooky and thank you. I'm going to put this on the Clips channel. It would have been on the Clips channel already, but there was a piece of copyrighted music in it somehow that I did pay for, but I lost the license for. So earlier today, I had to strip the video, take the narration off, and put new music on it, all just so that we can play it without getting demonetized. Hopefully that will work. And by the way, for those Richard Dolan clips, we're citing fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public, and we've won every false copyright claim against us by appeal. So if any YouTuber wants to falsely copyright claim me, just know that when I appeal, and I will, and I win, and I will, that copyright strike will revert to your channel for for making a false claim. What we do here is the textbook definition of fair use. So I'm going to leave you tonight with my piece, The Dark Playground Hypothesis. And just know that I think this is 3 years ago when I first started really researching and digging in and figuring out that, yes, the government uses aliens and UFOs as cover stories to hide their secret technology. It's something that I call the dark playground hypothesis. And now that recent reporting has sort of confirmed that my dark playground hypothesis and theory is more or less correct, we're going to expand on this in a future show. So we want to take a moment to thank all you kind and generous benefactors, you YouTube channel members, you PayPal pledgers, you Kick subscribers, you people gifting subs on Kick, you people gifting YouTube memberships. Tonight, somebody gifted 50 P18, I believe. 1 second, let me make sure of that. So we want to take a moment to thank all of you benefactors. It really does help us keep the show going. Yeah, that was P18 that gifted 50 Truth Seekers memberships. So fucking generous. We have a generous crowd here. And if you're one of those people that want to get to the truth behind UFOs, then hey, how about you support a channel that is consistently right, that doesn't give you sensationalized clickbait garbage just to make money? Somebody that actually researches, actually investigates, shows you the sources. We've shared our sources tonight. We'll continue to do that. How about supporting somebody who's been right about Lou Elizondo, was right about Anjali, was right about Bob Lazar, Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, Skinwalker Ranch, and so many other stories, Dave Grush. You know, we pride ourselves on really being of public benefit here. We're not here just to sell you a false reality or narrative. I want to get to the truth behind these mysteries. And if you do too, then I'm glad you're here. Please send our channel, send some of our videos to some of your friends that may be interested. Ask them to come and subscribe. And if you're listening in audio podcast land, go on over to YouTube. Put Truth Seekers, one word in the search bar. Go to that channel, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and come and be a part of our live chats. You are most welcome, and we appreciate every single one of you. So, and thanks to our Patreon supporters and Super Chatter, Super Sticker, PayPal pledgers, we appreciate all of you. Thanks for appreciating us. So that's all I got for you. Complizer with one more. One more out the door. Truth Seekers for life. We'll give you the big one to thank you for your kindness. We appreciate all of you.
Praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, thank you. And one more before we're out the door by Elena Valenzuela. What a cool name, Elena. Or is it Alana? I don't want to mispronounce it. It's either Elena or Alana Venezuela. Wanted to say, Stephen, your research and work every week is greatly appreciated and will pay off in the future when it's more and more difficult for grifters. You're doing an immense public service. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of that, and I've been getting a lot of emails from you people who say, I was balls deep in this thing, and you're pulling me out of the rabbit hole, and thank you, and we're glad for that. What we want to be is of public benefit. We want to educate people about the grifters and the scammers and the hoaxers and all of the deception that's used to sell these false narratives to people. And I get it. People are looking for an escape, but I want to get to the truth behind it. And I think with my dark playground hypothesis, I might have started to really peel back the layers of deception and get to some real truth behind some of these mysterious UFO sightings. So we're going to leave you with that. That's all I got for you, friends. I will be back for one more show this week. Please follow me on Twitter, X, at Stephen Cambion. We announce all the shows there. I'll be going to the cabin tomorrow, but I'm going to try to squeeze one more show in. I said it's going to be a busy week, and hell yes, it is. But I love busy weeks. Keeps me out of trouble. So that's all I got for you, friends. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. And remind you also, you can check out our website. It's truthseekershow.com. From there, you can get all of the latest episodes, whether you want them in audio or video format, they're all there. Also, if you have not already, please subscribe to our Clips channel. It's pinned in the description of the video. It's in the live chat. Just look at the description of the video, and it's Truth Seekers Clips, one word. So just go to YouTube, use the search bar, Truth Seekers Clips. You'll see me, the strange guy with sunglasses, pop up. Go there, hit the subscribe button. We only need 300 more of you, and Spooky's going to get a job here. Like a paying job, like a real paying job, we hope. And I could sure use the help. So please help me help our community by subscribing, and go over to the Clips channel and watch some videos. We need the watch time up to get monetized as well. So thank you all for being here. And I'm not even sure when I'll be back. Hopefully Saturday night. I've got some special things planned for a broadcast from the cabin. We should be able to make it work. We'll see if the lords of tech will appreciate our efforts and allow us to stream from the cabin. The internet is a little dicey, but I'm going to give it a try. So that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambian. Good night, and God bless all of you. Since beginning my show, I have gotten to talk to some of the world's leading experts on UFOs and aliens. Truth be told, that was one of my goals for starting a show, getting access. Access to experts, access to researchers, access to people that know a lot more about this than me. And many wonder, having studied this thing for so long and having access to some of the world's leading experts on it. What's the bottom line?
$3 trillion in transactions.
What do I think, having spent so much time studying this thing? The truth is, I'm unconvinced. Does the government really know about UFOs being advanced alien spacecraft visiting Earth, and they're just covering it up? Does the government have crashed flying saucers? Does the government have alien bodies on some secret base somewhere that they're studying? Are they back engineering alien spacecraft to create advanced weapon systems?
2 words, Mr. President. Plausible deniability.
I remain unconvinced.
Rising moon and Venus. This was taken not at the time of the Hillsdale sighting.
Sure,
Several days earlier.
the rich, the powerful, the ruling class, they have their secrets. But the real secret that they're hiding is they have access to technology decades ahead of the public. And this is the source of a great deal of UFOs. Things that people can't explain and suddenly believe are alien spacecraft. They're not alien, folks. They are the technology of the elite. They are the technology of the ruling class. When people witness or film a craft flying in the sky, performing incredible maneuvers that no airplane could recreate, this doesn't mean it's alien, friends. It means it's that technology. That technology that comes from a dark playground that few get to play in. It's in that dark playground that these incredible flying devices are designed, created, and tested. Again, a dark playground that few get to play in. It's in that dark playground that trillions of dollars disappear into every single year with no accountability, no oversight.
The Dark Playground is the source of most UFO sightings that cannot be easily explained. They have unmanned drones with exotic propulsion systems that don't even need a pilot. I, for one, want to see some of the toys inside that Dark Playground.
And build an exotic craft with an energy source that can revolutionize the world. Visible boundary that seems to confine us, forcing us to make the same mistakes over and over again.
And so, my friends, I've developed this thing that I call the Dark Playground Hypothesis. And this truly does explain a great deal of so-called UFO sightings. I believe that the rich, the powerful, the ruling class, the kind of people that could just steal trillions and trillions of dollars from the United States Treasury every year, have craft that are decades, if not even perhaps hundreds of years ahead of anything the public has seen. I believe they have some exotic propulsion systems that the general public certainly does not have any information or access to.
Greetings and salutations. For quite some time now, many of you have asked us to do shorter videos or clips from our long format live show. I understand some people want to see shorter and more concise, quick videos, so we started a clips channel on YouTube. I am sorry it took me so long to get it started. In order to have some help going through our thousands of hours of previous live shows and making clips, I'm going to need help. Honestly, my hands are full as it is, just hosting and producing the live shows we do. So we started a clips channel. It's Truth Seekers Clips on YouTube, but all one word. You can use the YouTube search tool to find it. Just search for Truth Seekers Clips again, all one word. You'll see a strange guy with sunglasses pop up. Go there and smash that subscribe button today. Otherwise, you can find and click on the link near the top of every video or podcast description going forward. Please go there and smash that subscribe button. It would really help us out. We will also be pinning the link to our new clips channel in the YouTube and kick.com chats during every live show. So if you have not already, please do go over to our clips channel, watch some clips and subscribe. We need your support to make the clips channel a success. We need to get that channel monetized so I can hire a clips producer to help us expand that channel and grow the show and its formats. If you subscribe to the Clips channel during the live broadcasts, please do type, "I subscribe to the new Clips channel" in all capital letters, and I'll give you a thank you and shout out. My thanks to all of you who have subscribed already. We appreciate your support. And hey, those of you who asked for the Clips channel, please do go and support our efforts in giving you what you asked for. Besides hitting the magic number of subscribers YouTube requires to get the channel monetized, we also need more watch time, so please do go check out some of the videos on the Clips channel. Some of our best and funniest bits are there. So please subscribe today, watch some of the videos, and help us get that channel going and monetized. Praise the cash, bitches. Our new Clips channel will become an additional source of revenue, which I need, because I need that money. I really, really do. Praise the cash, bitches. Let's get that channel monetized and praising the cash.